Hi there. If you want to learn how to create sound effects, then you are in the right place. In this video, I'll be showing you how I recorded, edited, and designed footsteps, specifically wet footsteps, to be game ready. So with that said, let's have a listen to the final results so that we can know what we are going to be working towards. All right, so here I am inside of iZotope's RX, and this is my recording that I made of the footsteps, the wet footsteps, and I did these at night in the evening when there's a lot less people, less cars, less noise pollution, right? So I basically try to put myself in an environment where I can get as clean a sound as possible, and this is recorded at 32-bit, 192K. So first thing I'm going to do here is just normalize everything. And what I always do here at the beginning of my recordings is I always like to have some sort of quiet section here so I can capture the sound, the noise of the environment that I'm in, so I can remove that noise, that unwanted noise from my recording. So I'm just going to take a portion of it here. So I'm looking right now for the quietest part. So right now here I can see it's a bit boomy down here, probably some wind noise and stuff. So I'm going to grab this section right here, and I'm going to do spectral learn. And it's just from here's the spectral denoise module, spectral learn, and that's it. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to have a listen to what it sounds like with just the noise here. So it's not removing too much of the body of the sound, and what it is removing, it's mostly the low end, which I'm kind of okay with that. It's kind of a give and take there, so I'm okay with removing that lower part of the sound. It's not, it's nothing that's the core body of the sound, so I'm okay with removing some of that, and it's very, very little that is removing. It's going to end up removing more noise than body of the sound, so that's a good compromise for me right there. And what you'll notice here that I'm doing here is I have this big kind of shape here, and the reason for that is because I don't want to touch the body of the sound. So anything between here 500 and 10,000 hertz, I don't want to touch. Basically, I only want to remove stuff that's like below whatever this is here, below 150 and above, 10,000, 20,000 hertz here, which is kind of an audible range. So it's going to be all this high frequency content, all this noise up here. That's what I want to remove. So with that said here, I'm just going to select everything and I'm going to render that. And there you go. You can see the result of that here, right? It's a lot cleaner, especially in the upper ultrasonic frequencies up there. And even down here, it's a lot cleaner than it used to be. So if we look at what it used to be, right, a big difference right there. Now, one of the things you'll notice that is still present here is you have this kind of hum here at around 120 hertz. So I'm just going to grab this entire section here. And for this, I usually try one or two different things. I might try the spectral repair and do vertical repair and see if that works. All right, so you'll see here what it did. It did remove it a little bit, but it's not that great. It's not doing a very good job. You can still see it. It's still there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that. And what works better in this instance, I think, is going to be here. I'm going to do a dehum adaptive mode. Let's render that. All right, now you can see the result here. I think it's much better, much cleaner, right? You don't see that line anymore. Now, there's still some remnants of it down here, like there. And you can still see a little bit here, but it's still much cleaner than what it was before. So this sound here, I could probably live with. You could probably not even hear it. Yeah, you can't really hear it there. Same thing here. Yeah, it's not really audible, so that's good for me. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to remove the noise at the beginning and me talking at the end. This is me kind of slating the recording here where I'm just saying what I recorded, where I recorded, the environment that I was in and everything like that. So I'm just going to remove all of that here, add a little fade in, fade out. Again, I'm just going to normalize everything just to make sure everything is still good. And now whenever I have a recording like this, where I have certain parts of the sound or of the recording that are really just have like random peaks. Like most of the recording is right here below, below 7 or 8 dB here, but then you have everything else that's above that. So what I like to do is for these random peaks here, I like to do a bit of limiting. So I'm going to do at around 3. So I'm only going to be hitting this one here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my smart limiter here as a plugin, and I'm just going to do +3 gain automatic release here, and I'm just going to render that, and it's just going to grab that peak and just pull it down and push everything else up. And it should still sound quite good, normal, and natural, especially because it's just a very transient peak. It shouldn't really affect the body of the sound or anything like that. So it should still sound good. So if we play this section here, right, it still sounds good. It doesn't sound compressed at all, and everything just got boosted an extra 3 dB. So there you go. This is just extra volume that I can have for my sounds. So now I'm just going to export this, and we'll go and bring it into Reaper. All right, so once I'm in Reaper here, now what I like to do is I normally, for this specific recording anyways, I have different sections where I did different kind of takes of footsteps, and I can see them here with the little spaces or gaps of sounds that I have here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move everything apart here. Let's just work with this one to start with here. And what I like to do here is I'm going to get rid of usually like the first 1 or 2 steps and the last 1 or 2 steps, because usually they're not as good or they're just kind of off from the rest of the take. So this one's okay here, so I'll keep this last one there. Okay, and then what I like to do is, it's kind of similar to RX here. I'm going to normalize everything because I want to see what is going to be standing out or peeking out from the rest of the groups here. So already I can see this one here is going to be peeking out. Right, it's a different kind of footsteps there. So if I want to keep it, what I'll do here is I might just cut it up like this. Maybe do a bit of a crossfade with the other sounds, and then I'll just bring this one down a little bit. All right, so if I do want to keep it, that's what I'll do, or I might just cut it out and then bring everything else together. So like that, now most of the sounds are still kind of good together. I could add a bit of a compressor on there just to kind of tame the peaks a little bit, but for me, that's pretty good. So I might export that like that, and I would do the same thing with all of these sounds here. All right, once I have all these sounds there, now it was just a matter of bringing it into my session here, into my redesign session that I was doing here, and just chopping it up to match the picture. So that's exactly what I did here. You can see it here. Let's have a listen. Right, so this is actually a different take, a different recording that I did where it was just wet grass. It wasn't actually water. The one that we had water was down here, or up here, sorry. So this is the one that actually had the water, so let's have a listen. Right, and there you go. So with these, I did do a bit of processing, so let's have a look at what I did. All right, so this is the sound raw with no processing on it. Okay, so the first issue that I kind of saw or could immediately notice is obviously they're all different levels, right? So some are more transient heavy than others. So first thing I want to do is to control the dynamics. So I added a compressor on there. So I'm just using a compressor fast attack here because I just really want to control the transients. That's what this is doing here. Right, so they all sound a bit more even and unified. Next, after that, I added an EQ because I found that it was very much in your face, right? Because when I recorded these, the microphone was right at my feet. I pointed them really close to my feet, and it's a bit too close for this redesign. The character's not that close to you, so because I want to feel a bit further, I added a shelf here or a bit of a cut here just to cut off some of the highs. After that, a bit of low air. I'm not sure this is adding too much to add body to the sound. A pitch shifter, sorry, to bring it down a bit. And a bit of gain to balance it with the rest of the sounds in the design. Okay, after that, for this specific redesign here, was just a matter of adding some extra Foley sounds. So we have the backpack sounds here. We got ambient sounds here. There's actually 2 parts of this. One is the rain. And then the other here is the thunder. And And you can also hear a bit of like metal or rain falling on like metal. So it kind of doesn't fit, but it kind of also gets masked in with everything else. And it could also be like the rain that's falling on the metal of these cans here. So it kind of works, I thought. So there you go. And then after that, adding a few more effects here. You have a ladder effect here when he's taking out the ladder, which is just a sound of a metal. And then a UI sound for the UI at the end here. For this UI sound, a lot of them are taken from my sci-fi UI sound library, as well as the robotic sound library that I have. And that's it. So now all together, this is what we have here. All right, so I hope you found that useful and valuable in seeing my process from recording, editing to design. And if you want to see another video where I go through some field recording tips that I've used, that I've learned, I did a whole video about that to help you record better sound effects outside in the field. So I'll have it on the screen here if you're interested in checking it out. And if you're looking to get sound effects, you can check out my store. On there, I have a whole bunch of different sound libraries that you can use for your work that I've created. So I'll have a link in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. So as usual, if you have any comments, questions, leave it down below. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.